All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Caffeinated Weebs Podcast. This is episode 10 of season 2. And well, we're going to talk about some laws and how we feel about them or compare them about the Japanese laws. Yeah.
Well,
I'm one of your hosts, Shawnee095.
I'm Danbyytv.
I'm Psychometry.
And I am Sashasstreams.
All right. Dramatic pauses. Let's go.
Sorry about that. It was weird this time. I don't know. For some reason, the blocks are in a different order than they usually are.
Fair enough.
Let's have an official order going then at that point.
Yeah,
True.
fair enough.
So, is there anything we want to start out with? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
We were given,
Go for
for the audience who are listening, we were given a list to look over, kind of just as a little baseline. And I find it weird how number 1 is it's illegal to make clones. Like, who thought of that?
yeah.
Like, I very much feel this is something that came out of the 60s and 80s when, you know, scientific experimentation went like all the way.
It was actually 2001.
2001?
When it was implemented. But the thing is, it's illegal to experiment with such. So it carries a 10-year sentence and a 10 million yen fine.
Damn. Imagine if they'd succeeded like back in the 1960s in the experimental era. How different that law would probably be. Because, yeah, I get the ethical thing where it's like, now in this day and age, we can't get away with risking someone's life in order to make a clone. So.
Well, not even just that, but how much issue that brings with it.
Yeah, no, there'd probably be a lot of laws that have to be centered around whether clones are people too and have their own rights and whatnot, but you know, if only they succeeded back in the days where people would just get lobotomized for no reason in the name of science.
In the name of science, science says get lobotomized.
I mean, yeah, it was truly a time in the 1960s. You know, you could get away with anything as long as you said, it's for science, so, because we need to learn.
So, how's about the next stupid fucking one as well? Ice cream in mailboxes. You can do some time for that shit.
Okay. There's a lot of questions around this one that I feel I have to be asked. Number 1. How many people did this that this needed to be an official law written
No, for real, like,
in the
who
fucking
the
law
fuck
books?
is putting ice cream in mailboxes?
And number 2. What dumbass is wasting good ice cream? Man, if you paid for ice cream with your own damn money, why aren't you eating it? That's good ice cream, dude. I'm looking at that ice cream and like
vandalism. I mean, that does look really good, but vandalism.
But there are like so many better ways to vandalize someone's mailbox. You know, leave a turd.
Well, that is also apparently part of that law.
What?
And also, apparently, in 2006, a fucking 42-year-old postman got put in the slammer for it.
Man,
So it's
that's
actually
how you know
Specifically a
he's not
chocolate
smart.
ice cream.
Working a job like that, you gotta enjoy the little things, man.
I just want to say that this link that was left with this possible debate or discussion, it was just like an example. This wasn't what we had to like exactly do.
Well, no, I know. But that was just another one that I was just like, what the fuck, why?
Okay, fair enough.
Because, goddamn, man. Some people who are just really... they just hate the world that much. They'll waste a good thing like ice cream and fucking destroy your mailbox in the process.
I will say, I think it's weird that in Japan you can't take out trash too early.
Yeah. This one's actually very interesting. Because Japan's infrastructure, it's very precise and on the dot. Like, trash being too early. Here's another one to add on top of trash being taken out early, is that you also can't just toss everything in the trash. There's like different categories for like take for example styrofoam and like cardboard boxes and stuff like that. All of those have like specific categories and the way they have to be disposed of. And some places will just flat out not let you dispose of your trash in your building if they don't offer that specific service.
Shit.
So like, take for example, to be like, okay, so cardboard boxes can go, but not cardboard boxes with that have held pizza because of the grease. And then like styrofoam, it's like, is it the soft styrofoam, like styrofoam peanuts, or is it like the hard styrofoam that crumbles and falls apart? Those have to be separated. And apparently it is a goddamn nightmare to get rid of anything electronic or large pieces of furniture. Like trying to get rid of your couch or like a shelf or something is absolutely a nightmare, because you have to measure it down to like the precise centimeter, because they need to make sure that they can fit it in their vehicles. And then you have to like weigh it so that they can, once again, I think it's so because they'll charge based on weight or something.
The fuck?
Yeah, because and that's part of profiting in that business, is you'll have like a large trailer for trash and stuff, but then you'll need to try and optimize that space as much as possible.
True, fair, okay.
Especially with how compact the vehicles are.
But you think about it, how over here it's like we have landfills and stuff, and it's just like if the couch needs to go, our trash, our trash compactors can handle it.
Yeah, I was about to say, not even just that. If you've seen those industrial ones that we have over here, they can literally crush damn near anything.
But then it's like over there, it's like you got to file out paperwork, you got to do all these measurements, you got to pay a fee. It's like, oh my god, moving over there has to be an absolute nightmare.
Nightmare, yeah. Although rewarding
can you imagine?
in its own way.
Like all the stress of moving, and then you have to do that shit if you can't take your furniture with you.
You can't just leave it on the curb like anywhere else.
I'm sure that's part of why some of their furniture is really
no, actually, that is an interesting point you bring up. And this is actually the reason why a lot of furniture gets left behind when tenants rent a place, is because they don't want to deal with that stress. They don't want to deal with the paperwork and the fees and stuff. That's why you'll get really old fridges, really old couches and stuff. All that stuff will stay in a renter's space even after they're gone, and then it's up to the person who's renting that space to then get rid of it if they don't want
it. Interesting.
Connor from the Trash Taste podcast was talking about how he had this like really old like cockroach infested fridge and stuff that got left over from the previous tenant, and it was like a nightmare to get rid of because it was on him to dispose of it.
Wait, why would that? Oh god. That should have been on the actual, like, the owner to get rid of it.
I don't honestly know what is up with that. I feel very much so that the actual renter has so little responsibility in all of this. I mean, they get a lot of punishment if things go wrong, I think. Like if the person who's renting flees or whatnot, like they catch a lot more flack for other things, but when it comes to the small things, like making sure the space is actually ready and stuff, it seems very much so that they are very neglectful of that, and that they're not held accountable.
And to be fair, most owners, as far as I understand, for places like that,
is there what?
They're pretty up there in years.
The actual owners? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because more often than not, as far as I understand, it's not very like young aged people doing that kind of thing because it's very expensive.
No, I think they've been passing hands as of late. You know, as you know, Japan's
That
aging
could be.
population means that a good number of them can't still be doing this kind of thing. They can be, very much so,
Yeah, it's a
especially
very
if they're
top-heavy community.
yeah, especially
as
if
such.
seeing as how it's not that much work. It's just all about whether you're willing to risk the liability that you can be a renter. So.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, I think it's still, you know, in terms of the actual age of renters, they're changing hands to the younger population.
That could be, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like, I guess with anything else, I mean, typically that stuff, it's more money needed to actually do said thing, like being a renter. So, therefore, it would typically fall onto a person of, like, more elder, you know, someone who's been around for a while. So, it would be a little more difficult for just a young gun to have the apartment or whatever house to rent out. So it'd be harder for them to get it.
But
Sorry.
veering wildly off course from that.
Yes,
that was
very,
just a tangent
very.
I want to put out.
But
It's just that I can't imagine though the whole trash schedule thing because
oh god,
you know
That's
it's convenient for us for it. You know it's 10 p.m. or something. You come home from work and you're like, okay, leave the trash out for the morning. All good, right? You go to bed, don't gotta think about it. You wake up, take the bins back in. But these guys have to get up at like specific time slots or something like 7 a.m. and then put the trash out from like a 30-minute window or something.
to be
I'd
fair,
assume.
that's kind of apparently when like Japan as in general kind of prefers their population, in lack of a better term, to function. Because I mean, they have, I don't know if you've heard, but they have those like really weird early morning like workout fucking TV shows, that kind of
The
thing.
programming, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's a weird.
I guess they're really thinking they're wanting people to get up super early.
Those are way too weird for my taste, those workout programs. I saw one
dude,
from
it's so soulless.
Chris Broad's a Broad in Japan channel. He showcased one where you would learn English as you worked out. But the English was like so specific and so stupid. Like they
I'm never going to
reenacted
have
a
a need
scenario
for
where this is what you would say if you were like getting mugged. And you would do like
Oh my
aerobatic
god, I think I've
workouts
seen
to
that.
it. You'd be like, please don't shoot me.
Please don't
It's
shoot
so
me."
stupid.
I've seen that too.
Like, at first I was like, oh yeah, you know, get your workout in, learn a little English. That's not a bad idea. And then I was just like, when in the fuck would
It's
you
like,
ever
what do
use
they
any
think?
of these?
What do they think the fucking English-speaking world is like?
What the
Apparently
fuck?
every morning, you know, you walk out your front door and you half expect someone with a gun trying to mug you. It's so dumb. Alright, getting back to the point though, it's just like, but it's just having that system here where you can just take the trash out and, you know, it'll just be gone by the time you wake up. It's just like, that's great. I can't imagine. I can't be fucked
For real.
to get up at 7 a.m.
That'd be rough.
Just to put the trash
Just
out,
to
then go
pick the
back
trash
to
out.
sleep
Yeah.
or something? No.
And then you probably
Yeah,
won't go
no.
back to bed because by then you'll know, you know, physically exerted yourself. You'll be awake. You know, as soon as you get that blood pumping, it's like you're not going back to bed.
It's hard.
It's just like you got to get your day started. So I feel if you live in that lifestyle, it's fine. But imagine if overnight that was the system we all got
It's
here
a
in the
little
West.
too regimented.
We'd
for
be
me.
fucking dead.
Yeah, a little too regimented for my taste. I cannot wake up that early.
100%.
Oh, so I did have one where it's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. I kind of wish we had something like that over here. You need to obtain a license or certificate to be able to handle fugu or pufferfish, which, yeah,
That sounds like a no-brainer.
yeah, because it's super fucking toxic if you prepare it wrong. And I am
Wait,
highly
do we
okay.
not?
I don't think we do.
I'm
as
fairly
far as I
certain we
understand.
do.
It may be. I haven't seen
Hold up.
anything.
I need to look
specific.
this up real quick. Pufferfish.
And also, the
certification.
Emperor is banned from eating it, just in case.
Really?
Yes, just the Emperor, not the royal, not the Imperial family, just the Emperor.
Okay, interesting.
Which is little weird.
Sorry, what is that?
You know, the Emperor cannot eat, is not allowed to eat pufferfish under any circumstances. But
It's
the rest of the Imperial
it's
family can.
probably there. That's probably there in case someone who is licensed messes up.
Even
and
fucks
that
up.
makes sense.
Yeah, that just sounds like
I
you.
get that.
If you are the Emperor and you want to eat pufferfish, that just sounds like playing Russian roulette with like 5 bullets in the chamber. Like there are so many things that can go wrong. Why would you even risk it?
Very much.
And apparently, it's not even that
Fucking
good.
go.
It really is.
Like people said, it tastes actually rather flavorless. It's just like you're.
God, I fucking love the fact that there is just
Like if I'm
gigantic
going to be
Gundams.
straight up, if I'm going to be risking my life, that shit better make me like Ahi Gao. Better have that Ahi Gao face. That's how good that shit gotta be if I'm playing my life for it. Imagine fucking pufferfish tasting
I
like
mean,
just
fair.
plain gelatin. Just like why do you even bother? Just go get a hamburger. Fucking much better and much cheaper.
I don't know. In Japan, as far as I understand, burgers are fucking expensive.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't have a huge like beef market over there. It's
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
mostly fish.
Okay, don't quote me on this, but at this point I'm starting to think that the reason we don't have international laws on pufferfish is because Japan is the only place that serves pufferfish.
No, you can get it here in the States.
Can you?
I can. Oh yeah, there's.
I
a
don't know.
couple places
I'm
in
not
town
getting
I
any
can get
hits
it.
on international pufferfish or something. Eat pufferfish near me.
But
Well, anyways, once again, way off topic.
I mean, kind of on topic, but I mean, yeah, a little bit off.
Oh, yeah. This one, yeah. The burger and all that other stuff. It's what we do best. Get off topic.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's fucking illegal to hand mail to your neighbors misaddressed mail to them. So if you get your neighbor's mail, you cannot give it to them. So I'm just going like, do you have to put it in their mailbox or something and then just
Technically,
let
I
them
don't-
find it that way?
So technically, I don't think it's supposed to be like that because I'm fairly sure we have a similar law over here, kind of, at least in this area, that you're supposed to send it back to the post office and they have to
Okay, hold up. Real quick update on the
Really quick.
pufferfish situation. I looked up Canadian law, at least. Canadian law states 3.0 that pufferfish is not permitted for import, so we cannot get it over here.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
I'll look up the United States law as well, just for...
Because I'm fairly sure that there's a couple places locally that I could get.
Just for
Then
the
again,
shits and giggles.
This is the land of fat boys.
Well, we can talk about that here in a minute.
Oh, yeah, fair. Oh,
Because that's another law.
Oh, man. Just the idea that you can't have a fucking inhaler.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Inhaler is one of the banned medicines in Japan.
Wait, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. Like, how? But why, though? Like, they have modern medicine and everything. Like, what the...
Oh, yeah.
What?
Okay, here's what
far as I'm
I'm
seeing.
seeing for United States law. Sorry, quick update once again.
No
For
worries.
many of the states, there are different laws, but for a lot of them, you need to have a trusted importer, and I'm guessing they dissect the fish ahead of time for you, so the people in there are certified. So like they'll have the fugu chef in Japan cut it up, and then they'll import it through their importer internationally to places in the States.
That could be, but that sounds like it wouldn't last very long. Because fish does not last.
If you freeze it, it should be fine.
Well, right, but if you freeze fish.
Well, yes.
I'll honestly still be a
Ultimately,
little
you're not
skeptical.
going to get it tasting as fresh as possible. But then again, you're not going to get it
Yeah.
tasting fresh as possible unless you go to Japan anyway. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Fair enough.
from what I understand, at least, if you buy it in the States, it has to be like pretty much guaranteed that it won't poison you. And there's only like literally, according to New York laws, there's only one importer you can purchase it from. You can't get it from anyone else.
Interesting.
And then Florida just straight up bans it. Like, you can't sell it anywhere, and you can't like try to harvest it anywhere.
That's crazy, because those motherfuckers eat alligators on the regular.
Well, alligators
Alligator
don't have
tastes
poisonous
good.
glands, so what's your point?
Yeah, but they're kind of more likely to murder you.
So Canadians, we're just straight up nah, and people in the States are like, maybe.
We'll
That
think
is the
about
verdict
it. We'll
on
think about it.
pufferfish.
We'll take our chances.
All right, sorry. Resume what you were saying before that.
Oh yeah, like there's just certain medicines that's banned in Japan.
I just can't believe that they have inhaler as one of them.
So, like,
Wait, hold
fucking,
on.
they tell people with
Hold
asthma to just deal with it.
I'm sorry, you can't bring it into Japan. You have to.
Oh, so you have to get
Okay.
a Japanese certified one.
Okay, yeah, I think
That's what I was
it
saying.
is.
I was like, there's no way there aren't just people
Yeah,
with
it's
asthma
very
in Japan.
Very strict on what medication. Yeah, so you cannot bring most medication from Japan. You have to get it prescribed from a doctor there, I believe.
Does that include tourists
Yeah.
or residents? Just residents.
I
Tourists
believe
as
it
well,
also
yes.
includes tourists, unless it's like very unless it's very specifically for life-saving things, and then you have to carry a doctor's note.
Okay. So people with, like, minor afflictions don't get away with it. That sucks.
This says
they'd
that
have to purchase local.
this says there
Which
could
I
be
think that's
illegal amounts
Okay.
of particular ingredients in Western blends of medication, so they don't allow some medication to be brought to
well,
Japan.
Yeah, I
that's
suppose that's
true
fair.
as well. But if you think about it, so I went to Scotland a couple of years ago, and
Scotland?
they have, a beautiful country, but
Ooh.
they had they only allow a certain amount of acetaminophen and things like that in a certain amount of capsules, so you can only get like 20 or 30 cap bottles, I think it is. And I mean, over here in the States, you can get like a fucking 100, 200 cap bottle, like nothing.
Yeah.
Max strength. So that kind of jives though.
Still, though, that must suck, I think, especially for Sean, right? Like, because, like, first thing you'd have to do then when you land on Japan is, like, fucking look for an inhaler.
I don't have asthma.
Who the fuck has asthma?
I don't think any of us have asthma.
I have minor issues, but
Am I retarded?
I've kind of outgrown them.
I could have sworn one of us had asthma.
I'm sick right now, but I ain't got asthma.
Bro, you got asthma?
What am I on? What am I on today? What the hell? I could have sworn.
What the fuck?
Okay, I'm just dumb. Okay. No, ignore me. Alright. Oh no.
Oh my god. Oh, holy shit. I was not ready for that.
Oh,
Neither was
so,
I.
Here's another fun one. There used to be a statute of limitations on murder.
Oh, wait.
Everybody have a statute
Wait,
of
what?
limitations on murder?
No! What?
Yeah, you guys do in the States.
No, we do not.
It's like 40 years or something.
No. If you get caught, if you are... No, the BTK killer, I think, was caught after, what? 30, 40 years?
Fucking, what was it? Like, California's like fucking 10 or 20.
It might be in California, but in the vast majority of the United States,
If
you've committed a
because
murder...
I remember there was this like one story, because I watch a lot of these like fucking missing unknowns or whatever, people who've been murdered, whatnot, and they can't like unsolve mysteries, and they say the reason why people have to solve cases so quick, you know, even after like 40 years have passed, it's like because there's a statute of limitations. You know, if they don't catch the guy, then they're gonna stop pouring resources into the case.
Well, okay, so that's a bit different. It's more of the police department no longer wants to pour resources into such. The statute of limitations is like after so many years, the law cannot prosecute you for this. You can still be prosecuted.
Well, I just think that's the reason why they would have made such a law in the first place. It's just so, even if there was interest or something, it wouldn't be like, okay, we're not going to pour the resources anyway. Just so there's a legal thing that people can point at and just be like, nope, we can't do it.
Well, yeah, but then at that point, like, a person gets to walk free and say, like, hey, yeah, I murdered this person after that amount of time, and there's nothing you can legally
And then
do
once
about it.
again, so it's like, yeah, you guys do have a statute.
Like, what is that one guy? The creepy motherfucker that ate, like, 2 or 3 people?
Talking about the Japanese dude?
Issei Sagawa, I believe it's... Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, the Japanese cannibal.
That dude, like, ate people. But yeah, so I think that's how he got out of that, because it was the law was finally overturned in 2010. But yeah, no, it's statute of limitations on murder is
yeah, he fucking wrote a book about it afterwards too.
Yeah, he did, and he's still like, yeah, I'm still down for this. Wait, no, I think he died recently, but.
Wouldn't surprise me.
He was still down for it till the end.
You can find the body if you eat the body.
Exactly.
Oh, God. No, he was just like, no, I just want to straight up eat the butt.
Sean, get your inhaler.
I'm finna.
So yeah,
I'm
no, like,
finna.
Yeah, get your
honestly,
inhaler, Sean. Your asthma's kicking up.
That's just a nutty idea to me, because in the U.S., as far as I know, there is no statute of limitations. There's like points at which like police will be like, yeah, we can't focus on this anymore, but independent investigations can still yield a lot.
Yeah.
Which I am thankful for, because yeah, statute of limitations are weird. Some things, like, okay, whatever, but for the vast majority, like, you still committed a crime.
I mean, I don't think it's that nutty of an idea to have or not have one, because, I mean, just logistically speaking, is that evidence, and
It does degrade.
just disappears with time, and it's very rare occasion that you'll actually get a lead, like 20, 40 years down the line.
Well, right, but
Yeah,
I mean, somebody should still be able to independently investigate and say, like, hey, we think we might have found something.
Yeah, so then I guess that's why Japan is, like, cool with it, I guess, with not having a statute, because then people can, if they want to investigate, they can do whatever. But it's just like,
and it was previously only 25 years.
But I just personally think I don't care either way. It's just like...
In other words, play the waiting game.
It practically makes no difference.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But luckily,
thankfully, they still, like, keep
Hold up.
records.
well, luckily they changed it, so...
Yeah. For sure.
Like, other things I can let slide, but murdering somebody?
Yeah. You want to make sure we keep that shit and definitely stay on them. Someone fucking deadbolted the door.
What?
How dare they deadbolt the door?
How fucking dare.
So y'all want to talk about the fat tax?
Yes. I'm
So-
offended.
Number
Such a
7, yeah.
weird-
Number 7 on this list. Japanese citizens between the ages of 40 and 74 have to have their waistlines measured annually. And this is because they kind of have this strict idea of, like, health and body image over there in Japan. And so
Which is
when you're
admirable
younger,
to a certain degree.
they kind of let you go loose a bit. They'll still, in schools, give you warnings about eating healthy and doing exercise regularly. But they're just like, it's fine because they know that bodies are changing in your adolescence. So they're like, whatever. But then pretty much once you've hit like 40 to 74, the reason that they have this particularly is because, your health has to be monitored very carefully. You're getting older. There are many complications that come out of being overweight at that age. And so their idea of enforcing it, unfortunately, though, is a monetary tax.
A little nutty.
Wait, so what is the waistline that they have implemented?
Well, I mean,
do we have that?
I don't. I just know it's like
Damn.
it's like basically
It
a version
is.
of the BMI index.
Oh yeah. Let me read
It's
about
like
it.
their idea of the ideal BMI index, and it's just like depending on how much further you fall out from it, it's like is how much you'll be taxed.
Understood.
They go based off waist measurements.
You know, I personally think it's a bit rough because for
Little
some
yikes.
people it's just I don't know if they do it on a case by case basis, case by case basis, but for some people it's just how it is, either your metabolism's failing you and stuff like that. I don't think
Especially
that
as you
should
get older.
I don't think you should be punished though for still trying to live your life. You want to eat food. You want to eat because it's not even like just gorging yourself, right? Because that's just in excess. But at that age, like literally, just eating slightly out of line can cause you to rapidly gain weight. Change shape and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's just like I don't feel people should be punished for enjoying themselves, especially when they get to that age. Like you think about how people in Japan have to like basically work themselves to retirement, like work themselves to death for retirement, and then you're telling me once they get to that age, they're not even allowed to like enjoy themselves after all that work.
Yeah, it's kind of fucky.
I mean, especially since they're working themselves so hard, like they're not always going to get the best of food. So
They're not gonna
yeah.
get the best of food. They won't have time for the exercise anyway. They're cooped up in their office. It's like, what is it? Like, I heard what was it, like 30-60% like Japanese citizens are like salarymen. It's just like so
Yep.
many people just cooped up in their offices. How are they going to have the time to?
That's nutty. Like, just to think about that idea. Like, 3 in 10 people work in a fucking horrid building, cubicles.
And you're telling them that it's their responsibility for somehow having a work-life balance when you already skewed one end of the spectrum.
Not to
That is a
mention,
bit
like,
fucked.
the kind of snack foods that they have to get on most of the time.
Well,
because they
admittedly,
don't get,
apparently, though, like even for what Japanese people classify as junk food is still pretty good in
snack
comparison
cakes
to what
still
we
are.
have here.
It's all like rice-based cakes and stuff like that, which, yeah, definitely
Dude,
not.
if I could get like an onigiri every day,
Dude, honestly, I am feeling
that is like
some
the
rice
ideal
right now.
snack.
I don't like the fucking... Oh, God, what is it? The fermented whatever it is. Plum, I think it is.
The natto?
Yeah, I don't...
They eat that for like breakfast, though. You don't got to worry about that.
You don't fuck with it too much.
Man, y'all ever seen a Japanese
I
breakfast
do
though?
not
For
enjoy
real?
the taste of it. I've had it, and I don't like it.
You don't?
Wait,
Other
what?
than natto, I think I could get away with it. I like the idea of having nice sashimi in the morning. That sounds great.
I'm not a big fish
They got those.
person, to
They
be
got
fair,
like
though.
pickled
That's-
tomatoes and stuff.
I would not do very well over there. I am not a very big fan of fish.
Yeah, I'd get my nice Japanese breakfast and then fucking walk across the street to see Sasha getting his McDonald's.
Dude, honestly, I'd be probably going to the ramen shops. Fucking.
I don't open that early in the morning though.
That's right, yeah. I mean, honestly, the rice cakes, though, are nice. Just with certain fillings.
Yeah, man. I could power through like any shift of like any
Man,
job
we are
if I
fucking
just had
going
an
really
onigiri.
off.
It's just
Okay,
calorie
that's
dense. You
fine.
just feel full. You feel like you ate a mini meal.
Well, I mean, technically, we're still on the discussion about the whole fat tax,
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean,
We're talking about like what they have.
and even then, like, yeah, if you think about it, it's not like they have very huge, high-calorie foods that...
But still, at the end of the day, is that at
you.
that age, it's no longer just to talk about what you eat. It's also to talk about what you do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you don't have the time because it's a social norm to fucking stay overtime at Japanese companies, you ain't got time to do exercise. That's just the fact.
Yep, you start getting those looks.
So, I don't really get how they do it. I'd be interested in learning. I'd be interested in trying it, maybe, but it's just like I don't understand it from a practical standpoint.
No.
It's just so many hours in a day is all. Like, this is why I think for the most part everybody has to like walk everywhere to commute, because that's got to be like part of your exercise regime at that point.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like actual
regime?
car usage in Japan and such.
Yeah, car usage, as far as I'm concerned, is only in anywhere that's not Tokyo or what's that one place?
Wait, what one
What are you
place?
talking about?
Can't think of the name all of a sudden. All I know is just it's one of the other highly dense population dense regions.
Akihabara?
Could be. Just as long as it's not one of the more urbanized places, like places that still have like villages dotted across their prefectures, it's like, yeah, you won't see cars that much.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about like in the... Okay.
Yeah. If you live in highly urbanized areas, you're most likely always walking or taking the train to commute.
Honestly, yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, though.
No, for sure.
You probably live super close by in that case, usually like 15 minutes or like 15 minutes to an hour from where you need to work, so...
All right. Well, do you want to talk about the big one?
No, I just saw a funny one. Japanese citizens need to notify the government before visiting Antarctica. I'm sorry, was it any of your damn business? I just want to see the penguins, man.
I don't understand that.
Hold on, I want to read this. Most people don't need to inform the government of their next holiday destination, but in Japan, you need to do so if you're going to Antarctica. In 1997, Japan signed an Antarctic treaty pledging to keep Antarctica safe from environmental harm. As part of the treaty, Japan restricts citizens from taking part in activities that could damage the environment in Antarctica. For sightseeing only, a form has to be submitted and approved by the Ministry of Environment prior to travel.
Wait, hold on. Antarctica. Wait. Hold on. Okay, but to be fair, Antarctica, that's a unilateral thing, as far as I understand.
Do we need to inform our governments if we want to go?
Yes. As far as I understand, going to Antarctica or like any of the the other pole, it's a mutual defense pact of I think almost every nation that. You have to register with your government and get okay to go there.
Yeah, I suppose it'll stop the occasional crazy from wanting to go. That one was just very interesting. I didn't know we had that at all. But it makes sense.
Let me...
The only people who go there are usually like people who are documenting the space or doing research, so makes sense that only a select few would be able to go anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so the way it works is since no country owns Antarctica, no visa is required to travel, but if you are a citizen of a country that is a signatory of the Antarctica Treaty, you need to get your government's permission to do such.
So then this one isn't necessarily like a Japan-only weird law. It's just a law, pretty much.
It's very odd why they'd include in this list then.
It just
sounds like a worldwide
because it's not
thing.
very widely known, I don't think. So
I mean, to be fair, we didn't understand it until...
Yeah, I actually just learned about that very recently while admittedly watching some guilty pleasure conspiracy theory videos.
Oh, speaking of cars, earlier we were talking about how we shouldn't own a car. This one law would definitely stop me from doing it. Drivers will be fined for splashing pedestrians with rainwater.
Honestly,
because as you know, Japan is highly prevalent to typhoon seasons. It's like, and it's just a thing that happens all the time over there. So it's like, why on earth would I ever own a car knowing that I can be fined? What is this? Well, I mean, it's only $66, but that's still $66 I got to give up if somebody reports me to the police.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my fault that there had me a puddle there, you had me there, and, well, tough shit.
Like, it's like, it says here, it's like, for cars who refuse to slow down on a rainy day, but it's just like, don't we have minimum speed limits? Like, how slow are we talking? And it does this apply to... So basically, if I see a pedestrian ahead of me, I have to slow down to like 20 miles an hour or something.
Yep.
And nobody's gonna stop me. Like, hey, well, why are you driving so slow, bud?
I'm driving slow and no.
Like, I hold up traffic just because I don't want to get like fined 7,000 yen. Like,
well, I mean, to be fair though, at that point, it's probably a pretty like common knowledge thing.
I guess so. I'm saying typhoon season must be a goddamn nightmare for everybody who drives.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Everything turns into pretty much a school zone.
I was like, oh, that sounds horrible. I can take you 20-minute drive turns into like an hour.
Yeah.
8-minute drive takes like half an hour or something. It's like, nah, I'm good.
Although I suppose in the bigger cities you're not going to be going very fast in the first place.
Suppose so. Yeah, there are a lot of, from what I understand, there are a lot of intersections. So
yeah, it's
only like a block apart.
High traffic,
so.
But not a shit ton of drivers. It's just very active when it is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I don't know.
Well, what about this one? If we're going to continue on the car trend, no red or white civilian cars are allowed in Japan until the 1960s.
Well, that one didn't interest me as much. Anybody here wants their car red or white?
I think I kind of get it because that was probably their signs for like
emergency vehicles.
Yeah, it says right there in the blurb.
Okay, and I mean, I guess that is fair because yeah, we've always had like red for fire trucks, and I don't think red was such a prominent color back then anyways.
I don't know how the hell you confuse a fucking tiny sedan for a fire truck, though. That's some
true,
real
though.
big brain. I see police cars,
right,
ambulances, maybe, yeah, if you were a van, but a fire truck?
You gotta think also, they've got much smaller like utility vehicles for that kind of thing that are pretty much repurposed vehicles.
Yeah.
Fire truck.
Like the Isuzus, or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm talking about, the trucks.
Yeah,
They're pretty much universal as shit.
That's true. I suppose so. Yeah.
Have you seen those, Sean?
Once again, it's like police cars and ambulances, but still don't get how you confuse a fire truck. That's interesting.
The what, Sasha?
Like the Isuzu trucks. I think that's the fucking company.
I know my one company here that my parents worked for, it was they used Toyotas, so I don't know.
Yeah, Isuzu's. It's a very boxy but very.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them before. I had one parked outside my house at one point in my life.
Yeah,
because my mom
and they're very versatile.
My mom worked for a company. They had to use one.
Yeah. They're nice little things too. Surprisingly fuel efficient.
I'm sure if I saw one, I'd know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like you've definitely seen them in animes before.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just off the top of my head right now, I cannot think of it.
Truck-kun.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, I got you. That tells me exactly.
Is it truck-kun?
Yeah, that tells me.
There we go.
Truck. I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's like every isekai truck ever.
Yep.
You got the big white box.
Yeah.
In the back.
Yep.
Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's Truck-kun. Truck-kun back at it again.
What the fuck?
Yep, that tells me exactly what you're talking about.
Thing?
Yes.
That's the name of it now. Yeah, it's Truck-kun, dude. Every time you'd see him roll up in the isekais, about to isekai the main character, you'd be like, Truck-kun's back at it again.
Oh my god, is that a common
Yes.
enough trope?
Yes.
Truck-kun's his
Why
own
is that so
character now in
fucking
every isekai
common?
anime.
Here I am murdering again.
No, he's not murdering. He's sending people to another world.
Murder.
He's doing God's work, dude.
Yeah, but if you remember, fucking what's his nuts from Konosuba very much died.
Yeah, but he was a pansy.
Well, I guess that wasn't even Truck-kun, so.
Right, not even Truck-kun does. Was it Truck-kun's fault? I say not.
Subversion
No, it was a
of
tractor.
trope. Subversion of trope. Approved.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's weird.
I
What,
think we should
Truck-kun?
get into the big one real quick,
Oh, yeah.
and then we'll call it there.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Would you like to
Well-
tell everybody how we got to this discussion today?
I guess.
I think it was because I was making fun of you for Black Bullet again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God, Black. So what? We came full circle.
We have come full
Yep.
circle.
Full circle. Back to Black Bullet. So they were saying that I'm into lollies because of Black Bullet, because I selected Black Bullet.
You are. Don't deny
Which
it.
this is no, it's not the case.
Don't
That's-
deny
It was just a cool anime
denial.
at the time, apparently.
That's a bit.
I'm sorry, I do not watch anime
That's a bit
for the
nuclear.
little lolly girls.
That's a little nuclear.
And so,
I told him.
anyways,
I told him you could hear like the fucking Hikikomoris in the back being like, "One of us, one of us."
What the fuck?
Like the fucking Aramanga Sensei fans being like, "One of us, one of us."
that was another one we were talking about. All the other weird animes, yeah.
I felt like
And-
it was time for some illumination into why are there so many goddamn lollies in anime.
Yes. And well, it turns out it's because the age of consent is what?
13?
14? 13?
Maybe?
I thought it was 14. What?
No, not in Japan. 14. No, 14 is like Middle Eastern countries, I think. No,
Wait,
they're
so what
more
is
like
Japan
16.
then?
Huh?
So what is it?
13.
Oh my god!
And it's
Yep,
just like,
age of Japan, 13.
real quick, it's just like, picture in your mind what a 13-year-old looks like. It's a bit weirder nowadays in like the Western countries because like fucking everybody's hitting puberty like real early these days apparently.
Yeah, it's definitely accelerating.
But I'd like to imagine when I was 13, I was still looking like a dipshit kid.
Yeah, no, it's just super weird.
So it's just like imagine that, and somebody
Kinda
said,
cringe.
an adult looked at this child and was like, "Yeah, they're old enough to fuck."
Yeah, I'd cringe and then I'd probably punch them.
But it's time for some illumination, you know? If you put it in the context of the modern age, yeah, it seems pretty fucked. But you have to look at it, trace back its history a little bit. And keep in mind, as I'm explaining this, I'm not in any way condoning it. I'm just explaining why this might be the case. And the reason it might be the case is because it traces back to all the way to child brides. From any medieval feudal era you can think of.
Yeah,
Even over here in the West, right?
it's just
Or
a remnant.
West, quote unquote, before we colonized everything here. Technically, everybody was British and European and whatnot. But not, it's like people way back then, in the European side of things weren't absolved of this either. They also had child brides, from what I understood. And it was
This is true.
at some point that they abolished it very much early on. And I think most of the civilized world these days have abolished child brides to begin with, anyway, including Japan. It's just they've yet to catch up with the age of consent law is all. But this traces back to the fact that, people back then still had wed children very early on. You would, selling off your daughters was a very common thing back in the day. Like, back when. Like, you remember being taught this in school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is definitely, yeah. This is accurate. It's just a very weird thing that they haven't caught up on yet.
I suppose it's a bit of a cultural shock kind of thing when it comes to it, because when you put it in that kind of context, it's like they 13-year-olds of that time were made to look very pretty and stuff. They were made to be attractive so that they'd be picked up by suitors. So very much when you think of the idea of, like, why are children fetishized? Because there's a historical context to it. That's just what they were made to do at that time. And
that's true, and also the repressing of anything sexual nature of Japan over the last, since the West came over.
Yeah, I guess so, when you think about it. Yeah, it's that they're not very open when it comes to talking about and teaching sexuality. So, oftentimes the issue is a combination of people who are sick in the head, but because this is kind of like normalized in their culture, and the fact that children aren't being taught, proper things about their physicality. So
They aren't being properly educated.
Yeah.
Fully.
So it's less like...
And I mean, this is kind of a Western done thing as well. It definitely is not fully of Japan's own making.
Yeah.
I suppose the point of it is, at the end of the day, is there is a reason for the continued fetishization of children. It's not right. I think that definitely needs to change, but at least there is a reason. I tend to think it is a bit wrong just to say that, Japan's fucked in the head, because it's not necessarily that they're fucked in the head. It's just...
It's the culture.
It's just the way
it
is
for since.
It's very much just a deep-rooted culture that hasn't been removed from modern society yet.
Not to mention the fact that Japan, as a nation in and of itself, is very rooted in its own culture and its own history.
Yeah, it is very often hard
senses
for them to change cultural norms, because they are very traditionalist people. Something's been the way for the past 100 years, and their idea of, instead of examining it and seeing if there's any faults and adapting and changing things, is just say, let's do it another 100 years if it's worked.
Mm-hmm.
Which it has worked to their detriment and also to their betterment in some form or fashion.
Yeah, it works to their betterment when things truly do work, but then... Once again, we bring up the main topic discussion where it's just like, hey, you gotta stop looking at those kids funny, and they're just like, how about I don't?
They're like, what do you mean?
Don't touch kids. Japan be like, how about I do anyway?
Yikes.
My mind's telling me no.
I
No,
don't
their
like
mind's
you
telling them
anymore.
yes. That's the whole point. My mind's telling me yes, and my body's all saying yeah. Oh no.
On that
no.
note, I think we're good to call it.
God, this has been a weird episode.
Yes, it has.
But yes, okay,
So-
Sean, it's okay. We understand. You like lollies because it's a deep-rooted
No.
seed of culture. It can't be
No.
helped. It's been ingrained in you
Hey,
from
Sean,
a long time ago.
You want to play some RDR2 after that?
I might
Get
take
off
you up
that
on that a little
subject.
bit.
That's a
I have only
yikers.
just started the game, but I might take you up on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
But anyways, so Psycho, you want to tell everyone what we're going to be watching next week?
Oh, is that my pick?
Yeah, remember you picked it out and it's...
Yes, I remember the pick very clearly. I'm
Seven
definitely
months.
not scrolling into my DMs real quick to verify it. What the hell did I pick? Oh,
Oh, damn
yeah.
it.
I'm excited to share with you guys something that won't make you, hopefully not make you cringe too much on the inside. It is a 12-episode anime with an original anime-only story that I found really neat. It was very cool, and I'd like to share it with you guys. It is Seven Knights Revolution Hero's successor.
What the fuck?
It's a mouthful.
What is
so
with
it's like,
these titles?
So it's actually based off of a Korean mobile game, from what I remember, web or mobile game.
Weird.
And it got picked up for an anime-only original story. Might have had a collaboration, tie-over, whatever. But I don't know.
So like how King's Game was just a phone game.
Yes.
Well, when you put it that way. But yeah, I saw this one very recently, so it wasn't like this was back in my childhood kind of pick. I saw it like
I'm
a month
still
ago, 2 months
frustrated by
ago,
my lack
and
of
I thought,
answers.
this is very cool. It's got a good banger soundtrack. It's got a cool story, great action. I think the boys will enjoy it. So I figured, just for this time, I'll give you guys something nice to watch. And then we'll resume the cringe next time.
The Edge games.
Hell yeah.
The Edge.
That-
games.
yeah,
we can
it
talk
is
about
the
Big
Edge
Order
games.
next time. Hell yeah.
Big one.
Oh, dude, let's go.
What
Let's
is
go.
that?
Oh god, he likes
Let's
Big
go.
Order.
The fuck is
Oh
that?
no.
It's cringe.
Don't worry
Let's
about
fucking
it.
go.
We'll get there when we
no.
get there, Sasha.
We'll get there when we get there.
All right. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start with this. If you wish to listen to the podcast on podcast format, you can listen on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, and Samsung's new platform, Samsung Podcast. Just look up Caffeinated Podcast. And if you wish to watch us live, you can watch us on Twitch on Sundays at twitch.tv/Caffeinated Weebs Podcast. Sasha, can you do the YouTube?
Yeah, you can watch all of our edited down content and any of our side content that we have on YouTube at Caffeinated Weebs.
Psycho, can you do the Reddit?
If you want to look at some dank memes that we make on the occasion, you can check it out at r/Caffeinated Weebs Podcast.
I think it's just Caffeinated Weebs.
And it's just
I think.
Caffeinated Weebs. Joke's on you. Haha, I'm not drunk.
Dan, can you do the Twitter?
Our Twitter is at Weebs Podcast if you want to tweet or anything at us.
Let's fucking go. And I've been one of your hosts, Shunny095. You can find me at Twitch Twitch and Twitter at Shunny095.
My name's Danbyytv. You can find me at both those websites at the same handle.
I'm Psychometry with 3 Ys. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter under the same handle.
And I am Sasha's Streams. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Sasha's Streams.
Let's go. This was episode 10, and y'all have a great night.
Remember, if you want to
Later.
discuss Aramanga Sentai, you can do so with Sean.
Fuck off.
Bye.
Goodbye.